Hello everyone, welcome to our Saturday live DIY. I am Laura of Instructa, and today we are going to be building a toolbox. So if you are watching this and you're not building along with me and you haven't gotten your materials ready, you can go on my website instructa.com and look for the DIY guide, and it lists all the materials you need. If you are building along today, you'll want to make sure all your materials are cut to length. So I've got all of my materials cut already. So we are going to be putting this toolbox together. So the first step you want to do after you have your pieces cut is to take each piece and sand the rough edges. So just where those little kind of splinter pieces can break off, and you know, you can cook your skin and that doesn't feel very good. And then also for when you finish it, if you want to stain it or paint it, it's a lot easier to sand the pieces when they are individual versus when everything is put together. So I'm not going to worry about the faces of my boards right now, but you could do that as well, especially if you have a power sander, just to get that all ready for the finish. But what I'm using is pretty smooth, so I'm not going to be too worried about putting my finish directly on that. And I hope I am coming in clear because it is a bit windy out today. So hopefully you can hear me. And if you're here watching, maybe comment in the comments if you're here live, so I can know if you are building along with me today or if you're just watching. Hello, I see somebody's watching. Oh, I think it's Isaac. Okay, so I'm done sanding my boards. So from here, I am going to make sure I have all of my nails that we're going to be using. We're going to be using some 1.5" finish nails, and as well as some inch finish nails. And I'm going to have my hammer. I've got glue. I've got my drill bits. I'm going to actually pull out a drill bit so that we can pre-drill our holes for the nails. And let's see. These things. So I'm just using a finish head nail, so there's not, it's just a pretty small head on it. So I'm using those, and I'm just going to match up my drill bit to make sure it's the same size as my nail or a little bit smaller. And then I'm just going to get that set in my drill. And then I'm just setting up my drill bit so that it's a little, well, it's about the same. Either about the same as your thickness of your wood, which is 3/4 inch, or a little bit longer. So if you're drilling into a surface like I am, that's not a surface if this is a plastic table, so I don't really want to drill into my table, I actually set my drill bit up pretty perfectly for that. So then I can just drill all the way in and out and not have to worry about my depth drilling into the surface underneath. If you have an extra scrap piece of wood, you can also use that. So this is not a scrap piece, but I'll just use an example. So you can set your piece that you're drilling into on top of that, that way you're not drilling into your table that you're working on. So we are going to start with our holes. So this is going to go together. I'll just kind of show you. We're going to have 2 end pieces and then 2 side pieces. And then we have this handle on top. So it's going to look like that. My end pieces and get my nails ready to go so that especially when you're working by yourself, it makes it a little bit easier to handle the wood. So I'm going to just grab these 2 end pieces and set everything else off to the side. And then I'm going to look at my pieces and see which side I want facing out. So maybe whatever side of the wood looks prettier to you. So I'm going to put this side out and probably that side. So from here, so again, we want to make our holes for our nails. Are going to attach the end piece to the side piece. So those are going to have to be right in this area to make sure that they're actually going to attach the 2 pieces of wood together. So what you'll want to do is, if you have a tape measure, grab that and your pencil. And so since the wood is 3/4 of an inch thick, you want to get it right in the center of that. You want your nail in the center. So from the edge of these pieces, I'm going to measure in 3/8 of an inch. So right there. So that's 3/8 of an inch in from this edge. Up a little bit higher. So this board is 3.5 inches tall. So if you want to measure up from the 1/2 inches and just make a mark for your hole, maybe make that mark up 2.5 inches or something like that. And start your bottom hole at about 1 inch off from the bottom. So you don't really ever want to pre-drill a nail too close to the edges of your wood because it can cause the wood to split. But pre-drilling your holes can help with making sure that, or not making sure, but having better likelihood that you won't be splitting your wood. So let's see. I'm going to actually measure mine out so I have them uniform on both sides. So I'm just measuring up from the bottom. I'm just chose to do 3/4 of an inch and then 3/8 of an inch in from each side. So if you don't care what your nails look like or you're going to paint over them, it doesn't really matter if everything lines up. But if you're going to stain, and then you probably will most likely see your nails, or your nail heads. So you might want to think about spacing them so they look the same. So I'm going to do that on both pieces. Ignore these ones. But you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 holes, or 4 marks to draw holes, or to drill holes. You don't draw holes, that'd be silly. So again, same thing on the other side. You mark 3/8 of an inch in from each side. And then I'm going to measure from the bottom up 3/4. Make it a little X where those lines overlap. And then I'm going to mark my other one at 2 3/4. I should redraw that. Your lines don't, it's kind of hard to kind of guesstimate. Your lines are going to overlap, so like I made this first mark a little bit to go back and make my overlap, so make sure it was in the right spot. Okay, now I have both the pieces with my nail holes ready to go, or my need a drill for my nails. So then I'm going to grab my drill that I already have set up with my drill bit. If you haven't done that, do that now. And drill my holes. So again, I'm going to go set mine up so my the thickness of my wood, so I'm just going to go all the way in and out. You try to go straight up and down so that you have a nice straight hole for your nail, and so that you are less likely to break your drill bit, especially with these real tiny ones. Diameter drill bit. Drill all my 8 holes. Okay, so you'll be able to see, so I have all my 8 holes drilled, and then from here I'm going to start all of my nails so that they're not bouncing around. It's a lot easier to start them on a flat surface. So, hello! Oh, my mom's here. Hello! Okay. I still haven't made a new work surface, so got a little bit of bounciness, so I might work a little bit on the floor again today. But I'm just going to get my nails started so they are mostly all the way through, but not poking out the back. So, mostly in the wood, and they're not going to fall out on me. So if you just put them in a little bit and then you start nailing, they're just going to fall out and you're going to have to start them again. Oh, that's a shorter one. So now I have both my pieces of my nails attached. So from here, then you're going to pick up, you're going to take one of your end pieces and then one of your side pieces. And then again, you want to look at your piece of wood that's going to be on your side, see if there's one side that you like better for the inside or the outside, and then figure out how that's going to go. So it's going to go like something like this. But before you nail them together, I highly recommend using wood glue to glue them together, just because it gives it a little bit more durability in the long term. So, and I will be posting this video to my page and to YouTube and my website. So if you're watching this not live, you can always pause the video or go back if I went over something too fast. So, or you need more time. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on there. It's probably actually more than I need. So the tricky thing with glue is you want some but not too much, otherwise it oozes out everywhere. So yeah, something like that. Okay, and then how it's going So I'm going to have my side piece. Again, clamp. If you have a really long clamp, you can clamp from here to your other side of your wood. I have clamps, but I don't think I have one that long. So I'm just going to hold onto it like this. And so luckily the glue kind of helps hold it in place. So I'm going to put pressure. So if I just kind of hold it like that, it's not really going to stay. So I'm going to put pressure. This is where you be really careful not to hammer your fingers. So right now I'm making sure that my edges are flush with the side, and I'm flush with the bottom. And then I'm just going to get my nail a couple pounds. I'm going to make sure my wood didn't move, so it's still nice and flush right here and up here. I'm going to reposition the wood for the top nail, and then here it is. So if you pat in a little bit and you notice that the wood moves, so it's like maybe out of place, you can always pull your nail back out and then reposition your wood. You might have to drill a new hole for your nail, but that's an easier way to make a correction than if you drive the nail all the way in and your wood ends up, you don't notice that your wood moved out of place, and then it's really hard to get that nail out after that. So I like to just kind of get it going and then do a double check before I drive the nail all the way in. Okay. Again, this is always harder to do with a bouncy surface, so I'm going to just give it a couple taps on the ground. More solid down there. So then from here I'm going to put on my other side piece. So again, I've got a really cool knot on this one, and it goes all the way through, but I like that side a little bit better, so I'm going to put that facing out. I'm going to make sure I have my glue. And then make sure everything is lined up flush. It's kind of hard at times to make sure everything's good. Okay. And I'm going to get my bottom one going. Okay, still. Actually, this time I'm going to do a different strategy and just get my top one. And good to go, so I'm going to pound it in. Move to the floor. Alright. Now, before you put your other end on, which you can do, but you run the risk of having a hard time getting your handle in. So I recommend doing your handle next. And so you're just going to put a little bit of glue. I'm going to sand this a little bit more because it doesn't sand inside this hole. So if you haven't done that, do that really quick. I don't know if you can hear the birds, but I can. They're out. Okay. So I'm going to grab this, and so you can either put your glue on the dowel, or you could try to get it in here. Mine on the dowel. I think too, if you had a mat hammer, that would be maybe a little bit thin. I'm just I might then for that. The holes end up a little bit bigger, so you can add a little bit more glue, and then we might even add a nail at the end to make sure that stays in place. So from here, we'll tip it sideways, and then we're going to add glue on the other side of our dowel. Okay, and then on the other ends of the 1x4s, don't need a ton of glue. Slide it on. It's a little bit tricky. So from here, we're gonna get our, just focus on and just get this piece lined up flush with the side and the bottom. Put some pressure down in there. And then okay, it's still good. Okay. All right. Moving on to the other side. Oh, you can hear the birds too. That's cool. Yeah, they're very trying to tell us something, maybe. Can you hear the wind too? Oh, I see why I did that. I was like, why did it go sideways? But there's a knot right here. Huh. Okay. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna have to add some nails on the end so that my handle doesn't slide out of here. So I'm just gonna use the same. Oh, I've got a little bit shorter ones. I've got some 1¼ inch nails, so I'm just gonna use those. It's gonna. I guess you can pre-drill. Let's do that. It's always good. Both at the same time. All right. That's not going anywhere now. So wood can kind of move around as you're pounding your boards together. So just give them a quick look over, make sure they're as tight as they can be. Again, if you have a clamp, be useful. Okay. I'm starting to blow. All right, so now we have everything together except for the bottom. So we're going to work on our bottom, getting that ready to be attached. So for this, I'm going to use some inch nails. You could use 1.5 inches if you want. You just have one box of nails. So I'm just using these inch-long nails. And these ones actually have a head on them. Not just so these are the ones that we used for the ends, so you don't see the head as much, and then this one is the one we are using for the bottom, so I don't know if you can see that very well, but this one has a lot more surface area, so you see it more, but it's on the bottom. It grabs so that it'll be a little bit, it'll just try to, it kind of like works more like a clamp, because it has that head that helps clamp the bottom to the sides and the end. Okay, so this is my bottom. Again, figure out which side you want facing down versus into the toolbox. I don't know, it doesn't really matter too much. Probably gonna paint it. So I think I'll just have this side facing up. And we're gonna need some nails, so I would say, maybe two nails on each end, and then 3 to 4 nails along each side. So if you think about, this is going to sit on here like this. So you'll be measuring in the 3/8 of an inch in from the edge, and then whatever spacing you want to do for the, how many nails you want to put in there. So I might expand this a little bit more. Okay, so same deal. Let's see. Wouldn't mind having a scrap. I'm gonna grab a scrap piece of wood really quick. All right, so I got a scrap piece of wood, so I'm just gonna use this to drill through. So if you really want to just measure everything out first, you can do that. Let's see, the width of this is 5.5 inches, so you want to make sure that you're not going to have a nail too close to that side of it, so you're not going to hit your other nails that are already in the wood. So I'd say maybe go in 1.5 inches on the ends, from each end. And then again, 3/8 this way. Same thing on the other side. And then long length is 16 inches. So let's see. So yeah, again, this is going to be here. So I would start, at least probably a couple inches in from the end, because you've got 3/4 of an inch here. So I'd start at your first one, maybe 2 inches in from each end. And then, I might put 2 in the middle. So I might do 4 on the ends. Or on the long, not the end, the long side. Oh, terminology, okay. So 2 inches in, and then from that I have a foot. So let's see, let's put 2 inches in, then we'll go 4 inches from that, 4 inches from our other one. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. So 2 inches in from the ends, and then 4 inches in between the nails. Long time no see. Okay, so here is our bottom piece, already all marked out. So from here, I'm gonna grab my scrap piece of wood that I'm gonna use as a thing for my pre-drilling so I don't drill into my plastic table. And then I'm just gonna drill holes in all those marks. There we go. Turn up my speed a little bit. Facing a little bit of resistance, so I just go a little faster. Okay, so I got all my holes drilled from here. Set aside scrap wood, and then get my inch-long nails and get those all started. Or you could just maybe do like 2 of them. So whatever you want to do. I'm just going to start all of them. These are a little bit narrower in diameter than my other ones, so they're just kind of popping in here really easily. So I guess I could have maybe gotten a smaller drill bit, but I think that's the small size I have. If you have enough clamps, you don't even have to use fasteners. You can just glue everything together. So we've made these really cool lamps with wood blocks, and we don't use any nails or screws. We just use glue, guys, and super strong the wood glue is. Okay, so from here, I'm going to flip my toolbox over, and then I'm going to grab my glue and do a bead of glue all the way around. I guess it's less of a bead than just kind of, I like to just kind of sort of flatten it out. So you can do that with the glue bottle, or if you have like a paintbrush or foam brush or something like that, or claw. Okay. And my bottom on. So. Okay. Doesn't match up perfectly, that's fine. You can always do some sanding. Sometimes there's, you know, when you're putting everything together and there's like little tolerances, like there's a tiny bit of a gap there and there. So, I'm not building fine furniture here today, so I'm not going to be worried about that so much. So I'm just kind of trying to make sure my edges are kind of pretty close to evenly flushed all the way around before I start nailing it. I'm probably being a little bit more detail oriented than I need to be on this, but that's how I am, so. Okay, so then once you're ready, put some pressure down, especially if you're working by yourself, or if you have a helper, have them help hold the wood. It's gonna be a little rocky. And then, okay, I just need to stop. And then just pound all your nails in. And I'm gonna actually go one corner, I'm gonna come over here and do the other. That way I don't have to worry about the wood shifting. That one hit a knot. or you can paint it or stain it. I'm not going to finish mine right now, but yeah, enjoy. So hopefully might have tools at home you can put in here after you give it maybe a final sanding if you want, or hey, use that excuse to go out and buy some new tools. So this also makes a really great gift for anyone of all ages really, that you can give them, because I mean, who doesn't need another toolbox or a toolbox? So, all right, we'll be back next week. So until then, hope you are doing well and I have the event posted on my Facebook page, so let me know if you have any questions gathering and preparing your materials. So, all right, take care, everybody. Oh, this is always so hard to get up.